the Fade 5 Podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets in Jack Wagons. Brad the Big Noise Evans here, joined by the good Sir Nathaniel Lundy. 'Tis indeed a Hump Day edition of the Fade 5 Podcast, presented by Suavecito Tequila. Go to Total Wine and More and pick up a bottle tonight and throw yourself a betting fiesta as a result. And, of course, the massive news, Tom Brady officially calling quits, we think, for the third time. Maybe it will be the charm for him to hang it up since he's approximately my age in his mid-40s. I'm not going to really dig into a whole lot of details about his glory days and the fact that he's the greatest of all time. But, Lundy, I don't know if you caught this from our buddy John Ewing at BetMGM, who posted this on Twitter this morning. In all games that Tom Brady saw action in, he was 213, 157, and 11 ATS. That is good for 58%. So not only is the greatest of all time, he was a downright covering machine.
Yeah, but what would that number have been if he had sat his ass at home on the couch this season? Because his ATS record with Tampa this season blew. He actually brought himself backwards. He was the equivalent of being up 10 units and then deciding to keep betting, and then you finish the night only up like 4. That's exactly what he did by not staying his ass at home this past season. I don't really care. Let the media fawn and do this this adoration, masturbation that they already did last season. Ooh, I'm sorry. NFL Network, the 4-letter, everybody right now should just take all of their content from a year ago and replay it and give all the damn anchors the day off because it's the same shit. I'm done with it. I'm tired. I have so much respect for what he did, but I'm over it, man. I'm over it. I'm over it the same way I'm over Aaron Rodgers talking about whether he gets along with his teammates or not. Like, for sake, let's just move on, people.
Yeah, we're going to feel the same way roughly 10 days from now because we just want everything to already kick off in Super Bowl 57. But we have a super duper prop of the day. And I pulled this one from DraftKings. I want to get your thoughts on this, Lundy. Last play of the game, a quarterback kneel down. Yes, it does occur, minus 175, and no at plus 140. Now, I do not normally advocate any lines on a single wager above minus 150, but I don't have a history card to play with this. I know it's happened often, but man, the yes at minus 175 feels like I want to kind of empty the bank account and take it. Am I off base? Am I cray-cray to think that a quarterback kneel down is inevitable in this year's Super Bowl, whether it's Jalen Hurts or Patty Mahomes?
Yes, because I actually think the final play is going to be one of two things. I think it's either going to be somebody rolling with a Hail Mary, or it is going to be a field goal attempt at the buzzer. That's
you're going to go with the plus money on this.
I'm going to go with the plus money on this. I don't think it's going to be a kneel down. I think there's going to be, look, with the odds sitting where they are, if you believe where the line is set, which is obviously less than 3 points, then it could imply you might have Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey trying to get down the field, trying to get into Butker's range to make a field goal, tie it up, something like that. That could wind up being the final play. Or you could wind up, Philly comes out and they lay whatever the new 2023 version of the Philly special is, and Mahomes is chasing from behind, and they're trying to get down the field. I'm on Philly in this game. I think they've been the best team in the league the entire season, and I have no reason to doubt it. So I think Kansas City could be trying to get something done. But the other reason I'm on the plus money is for exactly what you just said, my friend. I'm just not a fan of the minus 175. There's a lot more fun bets about this game that I would be willing to take that I can get in the anywhere from minus 120 to minus 150.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Evans, and just dig your deficit even deeper in the NFL this season.
You got to do something with all this money. You are on fire with your college basketball picks right now.
100% not. In the world of pigskin, I think I finished the season, so far, we have one game left at like minus 55 units in that sport. But in college basketball, I'm up 55 units. So let's get after it on this Hump Day edition of the Fade 5 with another, Fade 5 in college.
Number 5.
All right, let's go to the Mountain West Conference. League that was very good to me last night. Aim high. Way to go, Air Force, with a cover against Boise State. And shout out to Vic Lombardi and Katie Wingy, who were on the call on Altitude TV, our old buddies there at Altitude. And you're still buddies with both of them. So that was outstanding. Katie was the best in business. And Vic is always a trip, to say the least, in every single broadcast that he commences in. But what will not be a trip tonight is betting the over, in my estimation, of the Lobos against the Aggies, New Mexico on the road against Utah State. And that total is sitting at 154.5, minus 110 at DraftKings. Here's the deal. New Mexico, number 22 in adjusted tempo in the country. Utah State, number 116 in that category. So both relish a brisk pace. New Mexico, number 41 at effective field goal percentage offense. Utah State, meanwhile, number 7 in the nation in effective field goal percentage offense. Both shoot the three extraordinarily well. New Mexico, number 96 in three-point percentage offense. And numero uno in all the Division I college basketball is Utah State, over 40% from way downtown this season. Both are 53% plus inside the arc. Both hit their freebies as well at a clip of 72% or greater. I mean, you just look at the numerics underneath the surface, and it points you in one direction and one direction only. It's all about pace of play. You got prolific offenses. They can score outright inside. They can score outright outside. And if they get hacked, they go to the free throw line and cash. There's only one outcome in my mind here, a game potentially in the 80s. So I am well over New Mexico, Utah State, 154.5. The last game of the board tonight, minus 110 at DraftKings. Lundy, fade or follow.
Yep, it's our version of there's always the Hawaii game. Roll with this one, folks. Both of these teams well over 500 when it comes to their over-under splits. Points aplenty. Maybe not quite to NBA level with some of the points. And by the way, we got to talk some NBA when we get to bonus time.
Oh yeah.
I just want to know when dear sports books, wake up. We'll talk about that in just a moment. No, points galore in this one. I think you're going to get at least one of these teams in the 80s and possibly both. This is a great play on the late night. Take it on the over. If you want to get yourself a buffer and alt line it with something else, feel free. But this one should hit the over all by itself. You shouldn't need the buffer.
Tickle the twine, Lobos and Aggies.
Number 4.
All right, for the Mountain West Conference, let's go to the ACC, really a middling league this year, and a team that is squarely on the bubble right now is the Pittsburgh Panthers, and wow, I think they're going to scratch their way to a cover on the road tonight against the North Carolina Tar Heels. I am taking Pitt plus the 8.5, minus 110 at BetMGM. You look at Pittsburgh on the road this season, they've been warriors. They are 5-2 in true road matchups, and where they rank in the advanced analytics is rather shocking. And all of college basketball, out of 363 teams on the road this season, they are the number 16 effective field goal percentage offense and number 10 effective field goal percentage defense. They're shooting 40.1% from distance away from Pennsylvania, and a team, too, that is defending, like I said, outright. 43.4% on the road inside the arc and 28.9% outside the arc is what they have allowed in those true road matchups. Now, Carolina's got a height advantage for the Mono Baycott. There's no question about that. They are unblemished at home, a perfect 10-0 this season. But you look under the surface at some of the advanced data that's out there, and it tells a little bit of a different story. They're number 167 at home an effective field goal percentage offense, and number 100 in college basketball at home, an effective field goal percentage defense, and they're shooting a miserable 30.6% from three in ACC play. Now, Carolina beat Wake Forest by 9 at home, Boston College only by 8 at home, NC State, they were intrastate rival by 11 in Chapel Hill. But Pitt, knowing how well they have performed on the road this season, I think is going to keep this snug and just under the 8.5. So give me the Panthers again. Wow! Plus 8.5 in Carolina, minus 110 at BetMGM. Lundy, Vader follow.
I don't trust Carolina to be able to get any kind of a cover in there. I mean, first of all, they've been bad against the spread so far this season. I think 7-13-1, if I remember correctly, for the Tar Heels on the season. But they're only 5-5 against the spread at home. Like the spot that you would think you could actually cover, they're not doing it. 5-5 overall, including 2-2 in their last 4 home games. When you look at the ACC action, this I just think is too many points. And Pittsburgh should be able to get a cover on this. This just feels like a game that, UNC has not been showing that sort of death dagger at the end of a game to be able to put somebody away. They're letting them hang around. So even if they're going to pick up a victory, they're not getting themselves to where, what does the line say? Good teams win, great teams cover. Right now, UNC ain't great.
The Panthers obviously need a key win to stay in the at-large conversation, but I don't care about any of that. I just care about a cover. Get it, Pitt.
Number 3.
All right, numero tres. Let's go to Bedlam, and we got a battle there and a rematch from a game that recently happened in Stillwater. Now the tables have turned. This game being played in Norman, Oklahoma State, catching 4 +4 at Oklahoma, and I like the Cowboys. And I got my Wyoming Cowboys t-shirt on for the people that are seeing the YouTube stream because they covered with ease against Fresno last night. Way to go, Cowboys! And I'm going to stick with that theme. And take Okie State here. You look at Oklahoma State, they won the first matchup at home by a convincing margin of 72-56. And I think there's great value here on this line because people are going to buy into the recency bias. Well, Oklahoma went out and beat the living daylights and the tar out of Alabama. Oh, they're going to do the same thing, their rivals, because they're at home. Don't buy into that narrative. Oklahoma State is one of the better defensive teams, not only in the Big 12, but also in the country. Even though Musa Cisse has only seen limited action, the 7-footer and, premier rim protector inside, still this team on the year, number 5 in all of college basketball in effective field goal percentage defense. They're giving up just 42.7% from 2 and 29.8% from 3. You look at Oklahoma, middling in a lot of the advanced analytics in the Big 12. The number 8 in effective field goal percentage offense and number 6 in effective field goal percentage defense. Plus, they are terrible on the glass. And I can tell you from watching and scouting Oklahoma State, they really crashed that glass on that ass. And I think it will be the difference in this game. So in a Dip and Tuck affair, in a rivalry contest, give me Oklahoma State, my other Cowboys, +4 at OU, -110 at DraftKings. Lundy, Vader follow.
Brad, I was just completely distracted by an NBA player prop that I just saw that has me scratching my head. What I heard was Bedlam. I heard something about crashing the glass. And
then my Cowboys.
I heard about the Wyoming shirt, but it was right after you were showing off your current fashion statement that I just found this particular player prop that I needed to get a bet in on. So we need to get to number 2. Sure, I'll follow. No clue what you just said. I was in another world, man. I was like, wait a minute, I got to bet on this prop. So, please, Oklahoma State +4. Giddy up, Cowboy.
Hey, man. Purple Elephants, Oklahoma State +4.
Squirrel!
Take it, bro.
Number 2.
All right, numero dos on the Fade 5 today. Let's go to the Big Ten, and hopefully this will captivate Lundy's attention for the 30 seconds. I'm going to digress on this matchup. Give me Purdue. I'm going to lay the chalk here, -10 against a visiting Nittany Lions, another bubble-licious team. Penn State is right now on the latest iteration of Bracket Big Board. You can check it out at valleysports.com. Updates every single day, damn it. This line I pulled from BetMGM at -110. Why am I laying the chalk with Purdue? Well, it's very simple. They already played, and it was kind of a semi-away game for both squads. It was played in Philadelphia at the legendary Palestra a venue with a storied history, and Purdue won that game by 13, 76-63. You look at PU, they're number one in the country in the popularity polls and number one in the Big Ten in several categories, including offensive and defensive efficiency, also numero uno, and assist to field goals made. It's all about Zach Edey. He's impossible to contain. Yes, he's a mammoth-sized man, but he's actually pretty wonderfully skilled as well. Deadly within 10 feet of the rim as a rebounder, as a shot blocker, and, of course, as a scorer. You look at Purdue as a collective in Big Ten play, 36.3% from three, 51.0% from two. Penn State, meanwhile, number 11 in Big 10 action and 2-point percentage defense. That's glaring when you're going against Shaq Edey. So ultimately, they are going to be highly reliant from the three ball, and that's where 46% of their shots in conference play come from. So unless those are falling for Dredd and your boy, Seth Lundy and company, I do not see Penn State covering in this game. Give me Purdue minus 10 at Mackey at BetMGM. Lundy, fade or follow.
Brad, outside of the potential for my daughter to get a D1 scholarship in basketball, there is no one that I know with the last name Lundy anywhere near my family that has a skill set beyond the Nerf hoop that I keep in my office.
Seth Lundy is a marksman from outside. So if he is related somewhere down the line.
Clearly not related then, because my athletic ability would fit into a sewing thimble. If we were trying to quantify, that one. Purdue rocking at home, 10-1. I'm going to take them to continue to roll with it. 10 is a lot of points when we're dealing with a conference matchup. So this one, this is one, Brad, that I would probably, I like Purdue. I like Purdue at home. This is probably one that I would alt line and pair with something else. I'd bring it down to maybe 5.5. Maybe 6.5. I think I'd probably try to get myself 4 or 5 points and then find another game, preferably with another home team like Purdue, like what we're talking about. I'd try to find somebody that's a double-digit favorite that I also like, bring their spread down, give myself a 2-leg, try to put myself right around, say, plus 115, plus 120, and do it that way instead, only because Purdue's the better team. But these conference games every now and then get a little squirrely at the end, and so double digits has me a little bit nervous with this one in the Big Ten.
The Zach attack is going to be front and center inside Mackey tonight.
Number 1.
All right, numero uno, let's go to the same game / one game parlay market, and it is a marquee matchup of the evening. Providence on the road in Cincinnati taking on the Xavier Musketeers. And the Xavier squad is one that is out there with an Uzi in hand. They don't wield a single shot weapon by any stretch of the imagination offensively. One of the best offensive teams in the country. But I'm going to go with Providence on this 2-legger, plus 9.5 on an alt line. And an all total on the over 147.5. That plays, gets seduced by that juice, plus 105 at BetMGM. You look at the Friars. They have been road proven this season. They are 5-3 in true away games this year, and really exceptional in terms of the advanced analytics on the road in adjusted offensive and adjusted defensive efficiency. In Big East play, they are number 4 in effective field goal percentage offense and number 3 in effective field goal percentage defense. But really where they make their money is getting those second chance opportunities and kissing it off the glass. As a result, 35.3% of their Big East possessions have resulted in another opportunity offensively. So that is an eyesore area for Xavier, though the Musketeers are exceptional offensively. On the year, they're number 12 in all of college basketball in adjusted offensive efficiency, but they're number 217 in effective field goal percentage defense. In Big East play, they are number 8 or lower in 6 different defensive categories. You can take advantage of them, though the Muskies are 11-1 straight up at home this season. So build in a little bit of cushion here on this one-game parlay. Never fade the Friars. Providence plus 9.5. The over 147.5 against the X-Men on the road. Plus 105 at BetMGM. Lundy, fade or follow?
Brad, I'm going to trust you on the total, but when it comes to the first part of that OGP, I'm all about it. The last 10 times these two teams have played, Providence has covered 8 of the 10, including 5 straight. 5 straight times they have covered against Xavier, against the spread. So I'm all about Providence being able to cover, especially if we're talking about 9.5. And then I'm going to trust you on the total side of it because I didn't dive into that as deep as you did. But I saw Providence being a covering machine right now against Xavier. And it doesn't matter whether they're at home, whether they're in Cincinnati. Providence just covers. Like I said, 8 out of the last 10, including 5 straight. So that's all I needed to know in terms of the opportunity for them, plus the 9.5. Keep this thing in single digits.
All right, continue to follow Ed Cooley and company, and continue to follow Lundy's brain, which has been all over the map because he is obsessed with the NBA player props market tonight. It's bonus time! Lundy, whatever distracted you mid-show, do share.
So sometimes you get a number, Brad, a little player prop out there, or a spread, or a total, and you sit there and you scratch your head. And that's what happened to me right in the middle of number 3 on the list today. So let's go to the association and let's talk about Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics. Jaylen Brown's rebounding prop is 6.5. Folks, he averages 7.2. So first of all, that is always my number one, like, what the hell are you thinking? When somebody's prop is actually below what their season average is, it will always get my attention. In addition to that, he's been over in 5 out of his last 6 games. And if I go back to the first meeting on December 4th between the Celtics and the Nets, he had 10. I'm telling you, as soon as I saw the over, as soon as I saw it at 6.5, and at DraftKings right now, it's standard juice at minus 110. It is actually juiced to the under, not the over right now. So I just threw a 1.5 bet on that one. I did a 1.5 on that one. Again, he averages 7.2. He had a double-double against them the last time they played back in December. I saw that prop. I was trying to find something because it's a really great game tonight. Obviously, you're talking about the number 1 team in the NBA record-wise in Boston. They're at home against the Nets. I mean, it's just like it's a good matchup to begin with. And so I was trying to find a prop that I liked, and that one with Jaylen Brown jumped out to me. Side note, by the way, that I was referencing during the open of today's podcast. At some point, the books are going to stop giving us a Nikola Jokic triple-double at plus odds, right? I mean,
have to.
Folks, he's done it in 7 out of his last 9 games. He's nearly pulling an Oscar Robertson right now. He is almost averaging a triple-double, and the books keep giving it to us at plus odds. Yesterday was one of the lowest that I had seen. It was plus 145. But it is still plus odds for him to do a triple-double. Folks, with 7 minutes to go in the third quarter last night against New Orleans, he had already hit it, all right? So the 2-time MVP, in my opinion, he should win it again this year based on what he's doing. Folks, I'm not telling you to empty the bankroll on it, but for right now, if they're going to keep giving it to you at plus odds, take it. The Nuggets are in action at home tomorrow night against Golden State. That is their next game. Brad and I will talk about that on tomorrow's podcast. 2 games in the NHL tonight as the league gets ready for their All-Star weekend. That is coming up this weekend, so I think tonight's the last night. The first of these games is on TNT. It is Carolina and Buffalo. The Canes have won 6 in a row. The Sabres have won 5 out of their last 6. So a couple of hot teams coming into this one. Carolina is actually favored, but I created a one-game parlay because I actually kind of like the over in this game, but I also think Buffalo can keep this close, especially because they're at home. So I'm going to give you two options in this one. You can take Buffalo. This is a one-game parlay, same-game parlay. I did this at DraftKings. Take Buffalo plus 2.5. So they just got to keep the game close. Forget winning. They just got to keep it close. And over on 5.5 goals. You can get that at plus 115. You can also maneuver that however you want. So, for example, if you wanted to take over 5.5 and take Buffalo plus 1.5, you're obviously going to bump it up. But I did plus 2.5 on Buffalo, over 5.5 total goals, plus 115 at DraftKings. And then in the other game for tonight, they're both at 7:30 Eastern time. Boston will be taking on Toronto. I do not have a good feel in terms of the win. Boston should win this game because Toronto right now is without Austin Matthews. He sprained his knee over the weekend. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Toronto's catching a break, by the way, the fact that they're going into the All-Star game, because that means they're not really going to miss him for as many games as they might otherwise. So Boston should win this because after winning 10 out of 11, they've lost back-to-back. I think they should bounce back. These two teams have split this season so far. When Toronto won the first meeting of the season, though, it was Austin Matthews that had both goals for the Leafs, and he's obviously not there. So I like Boston on the money line in this one, but I really like Patrice Bergeron for a point. It's juiced up a bit. It's minus 140. But if you look at what Boston has been doing, not surprisingly, 2-game losing streak, he doesn't have any points. If I think they're going to win tonight, I expect him to get back into the box score, so I'll take him for a point at minus 140. And like I said, I'm leaning towards Boston on the money line as well. Brad, that is what I've got for some bonus time. What are you sitting on for today?
Well, let's go with a Team Huevos parlay play of the day. You guys know how I roll with these. It's all money lines all the time. It's been quite damn good to me this year. And if you have been tailing the podcast or the spreadsheet, hopefully you've been profitable this season. So this is a 4-legger. Usually I do with 3-legger. Occasionally I do with 2-legger. So all these teams got to do is win straight up. Give me the Tennessee Volunteers on the road tonight in Florida against Todd Golden and those Lululemon khaki pants that he loves to sport. Love you, Todd. But I'm going to take the Volunteers, who were number 1 in so many advanced analytics in college basketball this season, including number 1 team overall at Bartorvik, Ken Palm, Haslametrics. Honestly, it really doesn't matter. Give me Marquette at home against Villanova. And you're thinking, oh, it's a blue blood. Yeah, but Villanova is a shell of what they used to be. One of the worst offensive teams, not only in the Big East, but honestly, north of 200 in the country. They're not exactly defending all that well either. And Marquette, the definition of positionless basketball. They can beat you in a variety of ways. They're at home. They get the W. Give me South Florida taking on ECU. South Florida is better than you think. In the advanced analytics department, they're about mid-150s, according to Bart Torvik and Ken Palm, but ECU is rancid. That's who they're taking on. The Pirates are wielding foam swords, not sharp cutlasses by any stretch of the imagination, north of like 220 in the advanced analytics measurement. So give me South Florida at home. And give me Tulane, the fighting Sean Kings, my buddy who's on VSiN and Super Bowl winning quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in the day. But Tulane, one of the fastest teams in the country. They clobbered SMU in Dallas already this year, and they're welcoming the Mustangs back to their home, and they're going to send them to the glue factory. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, mi amigos. All 4 of those legs hit, plus 197 at DraftKings Sportsbook. So that's the Team Huevos parlay play of the day. Elsewhere, college basketball. I like Missouri. I'm going to lay the 10, minus 110 at DraftKings against LSU. Mizzou at home, one of the best interior scoring teams in the nation this season, number 6 in 2-point percentage offense, number 13 overall in effective field goal percentage offense. They're questionable and sketchy defensively, number 261 in effective field goal percentage D, but LSU is just bad everywhere, defensively especially, number 246 in 2-point percentage D. They will have no answers to the attacks. They're going to be repeated attacks inside from this Missouri offense and Kobe Brown. You look as well, too. Last 3 games on the road, LSU was lost by 13, 40 points, and 20 points. They're bad for a reason. I think Missouri's going to cover the 10 there. And here's what I just thought of. Lundy, if you're scared by the, double-digit odds and you're thinking, oh, these teams, they can't go full Alabama like they, roasted and annihilated Vanderbilt last night, winning by whatever it was, 50-plus points, you could take Missouri down to minus 6.5. Take Purdue down to the minus 6.5. And then the third leg in that, because it's probably going to be around minus 300 odds in each of those first two legs. Take Creighton down from 13 to 7.5, 8.5 at Georgetown. Get yourself in plus money. I haven't put this together. I'm doing this on the fly, and make some moolah and build the bankroll in the process. So alt lines on a parlay, Missouri, Purdue, and Creighton, because fading Patrick Ewing is usually a quite profitable endeavor. And I truly believe that Creighton is a Final Four caliber team now that they are fully healthy. And I know they had the 6-game losing streak, but they're a hell of a lot better than you think. All right, we are out of time here on the Fade of 5 podcast. Do us a favor, drop us a rating and review. If you enjoy this program, and fade or follow us on the Twitter, check out Lundy and his free spreadsheet picks at Nate Lundy. Check out me and my free spreadsheet picks at Noisy Huevos. So the legendary Nate Lundy, who is strikingly similar in playing style and appearance as Tom Brady, and we'll probably ride off in the sunset in short order as well. I'm Brad Evans. As always, until next time, fade or follow. That is up to you.